I mean, it was just carnage. Debris everywhere. That explosion had blown everything in all directions, including people.
So as we were heading down to the scene, I did call Sandra Sully, who was on the desk, and they were going live.
We have Michelle Stone, TEN's correspondent, on the streets of New York at the moment. Michelle, describe the chaos if you can.
Well, Sandra, you can probably hear it in the background. The streets have come to a standstill.
But after that, we lost contact because we had no mobile reception.
I turned round and I looked up, and there were 2 gaping holes burning in the buildings. First thing I thought was, looks like I'll be getting a couple of days off work, because where my office is a great big friggin' hole.
And I remember being on the bridge and seeing things falling.
And I could see these black things coming off the building, and I thought, what the hell's that? And it was actually people.
I found out that people were taking their own lives.
Yeah, I saw it. Saw it. You see it.
So many of them.
It seemed like every 30 seconds there'd be people falling down, and some people were holding hands.
And it was just so hopeless. That was their only option, you know? I don't know, I guess it's better than burning to death. I don't know.
And I understand one of the most dangerous things for firefighters was running in there and people falling out of the sky.
I said to Paul, stop filming. Just felt really wrong.
All of a sudden, there are explosions, one after the other.
I'd put a few blocks between me and it by then, but because the screaming, I saw it all happen.
These were explosions that were happening a kilometre away, but the entire building was shaking.
And then just a plume of dust just rising up into the sky.
This surely is the darkest day in the history of terrorism in America. It was massive, barreling down this canyon of a road that we were in, filling the entire space.
It's one evil black mess coming straight at the people who were on the outside.
And we had maybe 3 seconds to think about what to do.
You know, what's in it? Asbestos, other stuff, and they're screaming. I mean, it was horrid.
As we got closer to it, the amount of people that were coming up, running from all directions.
There are people everywhere. There's millions of people on the streets. Majority going that way. Get me out of here. But there were people flooding down to have a look.
For me, I was actually trying to control my breathing, because now I am actually running down, running into the cloud.
And I saw out of the corner of my eye this roller door coming down. And I screamed at Paul. I just told him, leave the gear. And I ran and dived under this roller door when there was probably about that much left to go. And I think Paul went under a car. Yeah. And then it felt like forever. Sorry. Yeah, I was just worried about him.
The phone started ringing. A friend called up and said, did you see that? So we turned the television on, and as I was on the phone, the second plane hit.
And it banked and just exploded into the South Tower.
I felt like King Kong picked up the building and shook it. That's the only way that I could. I was thrown forward, I caught myself, and then it was honestly being like in the surf getting thrown around with this overwhelming sense that this whole building is going to fall down, because a building can't shake like this and not come down.
It just shattered as concrete and flames and smoke, and everybody screaming again.
It looked like a special effect. It was as if you were watching a movie, but knowing it was real. It was the opposite of watching a movie and knowing it was not real. It was seeing something real and it seemed fake to you.
I'm standing there looking at the building, and I see a lady blown out of the window and cartwheels across my eye line and smashes to death. I can see her today. Mid-40s, blue-grey pantsuit, dark hair, ragdoll.
That's when people started sort of pouring into the stairs after that, right? So I remember thinking, I'm still higher than what I used to work in Sydney. So I was around the 40th floor and you couldn't move because there were so many people. Some bloke turned around to me and said, really lucky this isn't a real emergency. Because no one knew, right? But look, those stairs were never ending and just terrible.
It was at that point that I decided I got to get out of here.
So there were hordes of people coming towards us, hordes of them.
It was terrifying to see people coming across the bridge, running, just to get away.
To be quite honest, I do not remember the walk from the towers to the Staten Island ferry. It's just a blur.
So we got to the street and we were milling about. We noticed that there were people in front of us who were going, hush, 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 hush. And there was some teachers leading a group of school children away from the site. There was a school at the bottom of the trade centre, and they were singing the song. And as they walked past, we all kind of clapped and tried to make them feel happy as they walked past us. But yeah, it was an effort of the whole crowd not to panic the kids.
Everybody thinks of 9/11 as like one trauma. For me, it was like many, many, many re-traumatizations over time. It's like I'll be in my car listening to the radio and there's a 9/11 reference. It just takes me by surprise. Like my stomach's in my throat all of a sudden, like, oh, there it is.
I can't watch movies or documentaries or any reporting about September 11 event because I just don't want to see it anymore. 25 years later.
The only people I really actually talked to about this that day, I don't talk to anybody about this.
I disengaged with that discussion because everyone has their own everyone wants to own it for a different reason.
Everybody remembers what they were doing at that exact moment in time, but I don't care, that you were eating Wheaties or whatever you were doing because my dad was dying.
If one person had died, there's a friend of yours, it takes a lot of getting over. You just can't process grief or loss on that scale.
You don't see people blown out of windows every day. You don't see people burning to death every day.
Putting this in a box and putting it away and not thinking too much about it, it's been quite a good strategy for me.
Maybe I don't want to open that up, the Pandora box,
Time is interesting in that the grief never leaves you, but you learn different ways to be able to manage it. A few years later, I've met someone else and we get married in 2006, and then I have my son in 2012. I don't want to forget Craig, but I don't want the grief of all that, I don't want to bring that into my new relationship because it is so full of joy. It's taken a long time for me to actually find that balance where they actually sit side by side, and that's okay.
I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten married, had a bunch of these milestones happen, I think it's gotten harder, actually. I feel like I've been able to process more of my grief.
Don't get me wrong, there are days where I've been completely dismal and crying uncontrollably.
Never going to Australia, with my dad, and my dad will never meet my husband, he'll never meet my children, those things are really hard.
I think that event, one thing that I question would my life be different if that didn't exist, where I saw 1,000 people dying in one moment, what would my life be like?
Who would I be had this not happened to me? I would have this completely different life.